How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
You're wonderful.
Yes.
What is your life like right now? Do you have a handle on what is everything that's going on with you?
Um, well, I have a handle on myself.
Yeah.
I really enjoy my life. I love my fans so much. I love doing the show. I'm very sad that it's almost over. Uh, by the time this interview comes out, it will already be over, but I
Yeah.
have 5 shows left as of right now.
When do you start thinking you only have 5 shows left, or 4 shows left, or 10 shows left? Like when do you actually start the countdown for that?
Well, I've never really done this before. This is the first
Yeah.
time I've ever had to do that because my previous tour, the Fame Ball, I was getting ready right away to go on to the Monster Ball. And then the Monster Ball was originally a theater show that we quite quickly turned into an arena show because so many people wanted to come. So I've never really had to do the countdown before.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit sad.
Are you?
Yeah.
What are you gonna miss what are you gonna miss the most?
Well, seeing the fans every day and getting to perform the music live on a stage as frequently as I get to right now. It's very different performing on television, obviously. Sometimes there's a crowd, sometimes there isn't.
Yeah.
And sometimes the fans are there and sometimes they're not. I'm going to miss them, but the spirit of the Monster Ball will live on.
What do you substitute the what you get from performing every night? What are you going to substitute that with on a daily basis when you're not standing in front of 15,000 people every day?
Well, I guess I don't really view it as like drugs necessarily, or as a substance. It's much more of a relationship. So I guess I'm going to have to find other ways to communicate with the fans more frequently. I think what will be most exciting is getting to perform on television and do interviews and talk about the breadth of the work on the album, the music, the visuals, the journey that I took touring and writing the album on the road. I'm excited to finally share everything with the fans.
The anticipation for the HBO special is huge too.
Thank you.
Have you been getting messages about that and what people want to see? Are they asking you what's it gonna be?
Well, I'm really excited for people to see the HBO special because I think sometimes, no one really knows what to expect of me.
Yeah.
And it's sort of the thing that I love most about what I do is even my fans don't know exactly what to expect of me.
Yeah.
And the show really is the best way to get to know me as an artist.
Yeah.
If you have never seen me live before, there's really no way for you to know artistically or humanly what I'm about. This show is the absolute epitome of everything that I stand for as a musician, and I'm so excited for the world to have access to see it and not have to buy a ticket to see the show and just sort of sit at home and enjoy the beauty of the show. The show's beautiful, and the chemistry that I have with the dancers and with my band and with the audience, it's something that is more of a cultural experience than it is an actual concert, and I'm excited for the world to see it.
Your fans everybody was a little bit blown away when the clip came out of where you were so emotional in the promo that they're running for the show. Did you know it was going to be that emotional? Was that just one day that was captured on camera and then it turned into something that people have latched onto in the past couple of days?
I guess I didn't really think of it that way. It was directed by Lorian Gibson, my choreographer for many years.
Yeah.
She's been a mentoring force for me. And that was a turning point, that show, for me, as well as all of the performances I've done at Madison Square Garden. That's my hometown.
Yeah.
So MSG is sort of this ultimate dream come true, fairy tale moment that I am so incredibly grateful for. And to have the cameras following me, from my apartment downtown to Madison Square Garden into the arena, having HBO be there, having the truck set up, having the techno crane set up in the arena, and the fans notified that HBO was there. It was really emotional.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's good for people to see me in moments of vulnerability. They sent me the clip and they asked me if I was okay with them showing it, and I said yes. Because it's real and because it's important that the fans know that I am forever grateful for what they have blessed me with, and forever grateful for their support. And I work harder and harder every day to become a better artist for them.
Do people tend, I guess, let me ask you this. Are you good at being famous? Have you figured it out? Nobody can teach you how to be famous. Somebody can teach you how to sing, but nobody can teach you how to be inside the world that you're in every day.
Well, am I good at being famous?
Yeah. Have you figured it out? Have you figured out how to?
I would say I have mastered the art of fame. I'm not necessarily sure that you can be good or bad at being famous.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of just I don't know. I'm not a very judgmental person,
Yeah.
so I don't know how to criticize myself or others in that way.
Yeah.
But I will say that it has not affected me in a bad way.
Right.
I really, really am so grateful that I get to make music for a living and get to perform live. And when I made Born This Way, the album that's coming out on the 23rd, I thought mostly about what the fans wanted, the kind of music I knew I could create, pushing myself and challenging myself sonically and musically, and growing in terms of the evolution of the show.
Right.
And seeing the Monster Ball go from to a new place, to a completely new place, so that what you see on HBO will be rocketed to a different planet by next year.
When you have something new that's coming out, do you go through? Is there a moment of where music is yours before you're about to release it onto everybody else, of where it no longer belongs to you at that point?
Well, it's about to no longer belong
You know
to
what I
me.
mean? How does that feel? I mean, you're at that point of where it's no longer going to be yours.
It's very difficult, but
Yeah.
I trust my fans, and I trust them with my life,
Yeah.
essentially, because I am in essence private and public with them at all times. And I really am very passionate about what I've created. Even just watching your reaction, listening
Yeah.
to the song I just played you made me so happy. I saw such a genuine, visceral excitement from you, which is what I enjoy seeing in my fans when they dance to the music during the show. Even now, we play Judas when the show is over.
Yeah.
Just in the crowd, we close the curtains. No one's dancing or singing on stage, and everybody stays for the whole song and just parties for the last 4 minutes of the show. And we're not even out there. They're
Yeah.
just enjoying the music, and that is what's exciting for me. Is being able to now give what I've created to all of them and say, you are my inspiration for all of this.
Yeah.
You are the reason I created this, and I just hope that they love it as much as I do.
Yeah. When you do have a moment like that of where, who's your person that when you see something that is amazing, who's the person that you go to first to share that with, or to talk to, or to call, or whatever?
To be honest, I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in looking outwards too much. I have the House of Gaga. I have my friends
Yeah.
who are in the House of Gaga that do all of the creative stuff with me.
Yeah.
The clothing, the visuals, putting the shows together, the art pieces, the technology, this continuation of pop performance are in relation to technology and fashion and modernity. But when it comes to the music, I am mostly confident in my expertise as a musician,
Yeah.
and I have people around me that are wonderful. Fernando, Paul, DJ White Shadow's his name, Dave, Red One. These are people in my life that have now become like brothers to me, creatively, and I of course collaborate with them on everything. So no, I am not a musical tyrant. I don't create things and then give them to the label. I create in a collaborative process with everyone, but ultimately I go with my nerve and my instincts as a musician, and I know when it's finished. I know from a very meticulous and detailed standpoint every single nuance of the album.
Are you super controlling when you're in the room? Like, do you take moments when you're in the studio to just be alone with it?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yesterday even I'm delivering the album this week, and last night it was about 2:00 in the morning, and I just pulled the car over and everybody got out, and I just sat in the car and played the album and listened to it, and wrote notes and sent it back to everyone and said, I want to bring this bass line up. I'd like for this vocal to be lowered a bit. I like this. And, you know, I go through everything, and I do have a very personal experience with my music. It is so personal. I hate it when people say, don't let it bother you, it's not personal. It is f***ing personal. That's my soul. That's my blood, sweat, and tears. That's my work. If you're not used to artists putting out music that is their soul, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
I am 100,000% devoted to the craft of making music and performance art in relation to pop culture being the new religion, and that is my religion.
When you came out, it wasn't just a record. When you came out, you had a voice automatically. I mean, that's one of the things that people were so drawn to you for, is, you know, it was what you would do on stage and what you would say and the causes that you would fight for and the people that you fought for. Did that just happen? Was that a plan for you to do those two things simultaneously?
Well, I always knew that ultimately I wanted to create music, and if I was ever blessed enough to have a voice in the universe, that I would always choose the moral imperative to make the world a better place whenever I could.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it was quite difficult. It's so funny to do interviews now, and people say, from the beginning, you've always been, no, but it's funny because from what beginning? Because I don't remember it that way. I remember sitting in interviews with lovely guys like you, who were not so lovely back then, poking me and saying, what the fuck are you wearing? You're very strange. Is there anything of substance behind all of this artifice? Yeah. And I really challenge culture to find substance in things that are magical, things that are fantasy, things that are otherworldly. Art. Yeah. Art can be life. Yeah. Fantasy can be life. If you tell a lie over and over again, a beautiful lie, a lie like peace, at some point it will become true. Right. So it's funny to hear you ask those questions now, because there was a point where if I had something to say about goodwill or about charity, there was a lot of eye rolling, when in reality I don't think it's ever wrong to love. I think it's mostly wrong to stop people from loving. And this album became what it is based on the fact that I now feel a moral obligation to continue and perpetuate the culture of Little Monsters, which is a beautiful, loving and accepting culture that pushes the boundaries of love and acceptance and no judgment, no prejudice. The Monster Ball is a cultural experience that is unlike anything I could have imagined I would be blessed to be a part of in my career.
I talked to Zombie Boy today.
Oh, to Rico. Does he even like that name, Zombie Boy? I don't know if he likes that name.
I mean, it is what
he doesn't look like a zombie to me.
It is what it is. He said his goal was to look like a zombie, is what he
so then maybe he liked it.
Is what he told me. You know, he's the kind of guy of where, you know, when you talk to him, he's very just low key until you mention you and his experience on the video shoot, and just to see, he lights up when he talks about it. Do you remember that day, you know, with him? And
Rico's just such a beautiful person.
Yeah.
And he, for me, as a artistic metaphor, represents everything that Born This Way is really about. Born This Way is not about saying I was born perfect.
Yeah.
It's not about saying I was born special. Born This Way is about saying I have the ability to be reborn over and over again, as many times as I please, forever. Yeah. It is eternal. In the Born This Way video, I say the birth was not finite, it was infinite. Yeah. And I believe that Rico, in his tattooed spirit, was always destined to become the Rico that he is today. He was born this way. So he represents for me a very sort of challenging and complex cultural metaphor that I wanted to use in the video to talk about identity in relation to birth.
Yeah. And which is something that, I mean, young fans latch onto. They look for a voice, somebody to say that, right?
Well, some of them do, and some of them don't.
Yeah.
But I think for my fans in particular, those who are struggling with being bullied in school or struggling with finding out who they are, part of growing up is putting on as many different wigs and as many different hats as you can until you discover ultimately what it is that you want to become. And somewhere along the way, society has lost sight of that and imposed a very strong mold and a strong sense of what is needed to conform to. And at the Monster Ball, the sentiment is there is no need to conform. The more hats, the better. The more wigs, the better. Find the mask that fits you perfect and wear it proud.
Before I let you go, can I see the horns, the things on the side of your face, or no?
My bones.
Yeah, your bones. Is that okay? See there. It's pretty brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. How many hours a day? I mean, how long does this take to do? Are you in and out of a chair?
Quick. I was very inspired this morning. They just sprung right out of my face.
I don't mean just. I mean how many hours a day are you sitting in a chair with just somebody touching you?
Not very. Oh, I wish more hours with someone touching me in a chair. That would be nice. I'm in a chair right now. Would someone like to touch me?
There's a camera guy right there.
That's illegal. Is that illegal?
And before I let you go, your thoughts on Canada? I mean,
I love Canada.
Yeah.
I love my fans here. Canada has always been one of the very first places to always latch onto my music and my creativity first.
Yeah.
Watching Born This Way have the effect that it's had on my Canadian fans has been such an absolute euphoric experience for me.
Yeah.
Even the other day, someone told me that Judas and Born This Way are both in the top 10 still here, and it just made me so happy.
Yeah.
They really understand me here, and that's good. They're the leaders.
We are the leaders.
You are the leaders.
What's the last song that made you cry?
The last song that made me cry.
Yeah.
I cry quite frequently listening to music, so I would have to think. I actually went to an Iron Maiden concert last week, and I cried when Eddie came out during Iron Maiden. I had had a couple drinks, but it was very exciting. Actually, the famed monster in the Monster Ball was inspired by...
Really?
Yes, by Eddie.
That's fantastic.
I met Nico, the drummer. And it was funny because I said, Eddie had a baby, and it's a fish. And he's at the Monster Ball, and he thought it was so funny. It was great.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.